Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul, and Happy New Year's to everybody out there. I was not planning on doing a video today. However, when I was walking around enjoying all of my trees this morning, I noticed the spider mites have continuously come back on my blue jacaranda from the Planter's Choice Grow Kit. So, as it's my largest and most predominant blue jacaranda, I'm going to err on the side of caution. And even though I typically would not prune it this time of year, I feel like since it's an indoor tree, it's an opportune time to just, get those affected branches out of there and see where we're at with this little tree. So that's what's coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. All right, y'all. I'm totally getting poked in the back by this pencil cacti, but it's doing really well. If you didn't check out the last time I pruned it, this is the mama pencil cactus, and I just do like so many cuttings from it. It's awesome. Anyways, back to the blue jacaranda and our issue with the spider mites. If you have not had spider mites, basically, they're very difficult to see at first, especially with a tree with such fine leaves like this. It's like this very tight webbing, hence where they get their name spider mites. And then there's these tiny little reddish brown creatures all hopping around, eating up the nutrients from your tree, and they could totally kill it quickly. In fact, I'm pretty proud of this tree for it doesn't even look that bad considering the attack. Up top, I just noticed in the sunlight, you look through and you could just see like they are covered. All these tiny little leaves are just covered in this webbing. It's terrible. If I think about it, I'll find some photos online and I'll attach it to this video. But if I forget or just don't care to, just Google spider mites and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about quickly. If you're new into bonsai, this is the #1 insect species that I would say, be careful of. They can destroy a tree, a whole grouping of trees, in a matter of days. So you're noticing probably this nice little swoop going around. This thing has some great movement, which is very easy to manipulate these blue jacarandas or Dulonyx regia with just growing it towards the sun, and then you can turn it and create these turns and things. I don't wire ever, so this is totally from directional pruning and then just like how I position it in the window. Oh man, yeah, they're all over this thing. So if you notice right here, this little nubber that I'm going to cut off tight right now, this was an awesome, it was the leader, and it came out and it literally wrapped around like a circle. It was so cool. And last year sometime, you can check back on the playlist, it just completely died off and I had to prune it off. So what I just cut off this time, you want to leave a little bit of room for dieback on these. So when you do prune it, don't prune it exactly to where you want it, because chances are it's going to die back a little bit. So if you have a branch right there, that branch will die. So I think what I'm going to do, typically I wouldn't do this. I think I'm going to completely defoliate this thing and then prune it down a little bit. I didn't want to, but I've treated it a few times, and each time, like, it's one of those things where when you treat it, even though all these little leaves remain, they're sickly and they're not actually gathering energy or anything like that. They're just actually remain. So I'm forever cleaning up. You see, this is what happens on a healthy plant or a blue jacaranda tree. These don't fall off. You could run your hands through them like a feather and they just bounce right back. But that was one of the things that gave it away, that it was sickly, was I would bump into it and little branches would fall off. Because I'm telling you, like, you have to be in the right light and know what you're looking for to see these spider mites on something like this. So here we go. I'm just going to prune off all the branches here. These beautiful little leaves. Leave a tiny bit of room. The little ends will turn yellow and dry up, and they'll just fall off in a week or so. You could just flick your finger on them and they'll fall off. So this is a fairly young tree. I think it'll probably turn maybe 2 in February. Grown from seed, obviously. If you're in a climate like mine, you don't get to keep these outdoors pretty much at any time. If you do get to grow these outdoors and just leave them outdoors, lucky you. You've picked a great place to live at. I imagine that you have a lot more success than those of us in colder climates. I saw a bunch of these in Barcelona. They used to grow them like along the streets, and they're amazing. You could tell like where the sun is because they just crawl towards the sun even in full-size form. And if you're growing for the first time and you don't get any of these to germinate, not necessarily your fault, they're very difficult. So that's long and leggy. Got this nice little start here, and then it wraps back, and then there isn't that much action. This must have been where I pruned it last time, up here and here, and there hasn't been any improvement. So I'm going to bring it back to the same area. Let's not overthink it, right? Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is spray this thing down with my solution of dish liquid and rosemary oil, and just very, very much so keep an eye on it. Make sure it recovers. So these are cool. They're almost like a citrus bark when they start to wooden up and change from green. They have those vertical lines on it. That's cool. Yeah, I don't have much to say on this thing because I wasn't planning on doing this video, but I'm just tired of battling the spider mites. I figured I'd just like cut them out completely and start from scratch, and hopefully this thing has enough energy and enough sunlight to recover and just move forward. But I'm thinking, this initial branch that I did not want to prune off, that died off, I'm thinking it was probably something like this where I didn't even notice because I have so many trees and they're really hard to see with these trees with the fine leaves. So anyways, short video today. Happy New Year's, y'all. That's going to do it for Jarhead Bonsai. If you have not hit that subscribe button, please do so. And if you haven't checked out my older videos, go ahead, hit a playlist. If you're looking for a specific species, there's at least 2 years worth of data and information on a complete amateur, learning from the ground up. This is my 3rd year on bonsai. So I think it would be a good resource for you to, learn going forward what to do and definitely what not to do. So I'm Jared Paul. Happy New Year and cheers, y'all.